Okay, guys, so Miss Stillheart here. I'm just publishing a really quick tutorial on how to do your homework assignment. Yes, you watched the video on what supply and demand is and how to do that, whether you were in class or not when we were talking about it. It's actually pretty simple, but making a chart or graph on it is a little bit more tricky. Excel is easier to do this with than Google Sheets. However, it does have some issues, so we're going to talk about those. I'll publish my updated template for you guys because I do want you guys to write out your equilibrium price point that you find out. And I've also formatted these with the commas between, but not as money. We want our price formatted as accounting for all of these. And then I've added an equilibrium price point thing where you are going to fill out that information once you get that from creating your charts and graphs. You may have noticed with the case study that was given to us from Lewin Learning that the price and the demand curves weren't always on consistent category, like as far as, I was going to say category axis. You guys are probably not familiar with Excel language. So there's horizontal and vertical axes, and their supply and demand curves weren't consistent with that. And so when you looked at their charts they gave you, those are actually inaccurate. So I unpublished their examples, and I'm going to give you mine as better examples so that you can use that from me. Here's a quick note. I was double checking this. I kind of looked at their information. I was like, this isn't quite right. Price needs to be on the vertical axis. If you were doing supply and demand, that means price needs to be going this way. And then quantity would be on the horizontal axis. Okay, so price is on the vertical. It 100% needs to be on the vertical axis. Okay, so we're going to go grab this. I'm going to show you guys probably the common mistake of what you guys have been doing. If you go to insert and you just choose a recommended chart, it's going to give you some things. It's probably going to recommend some column charts, some bar charts, and some line graphs. You don't want any of those. If you try to do a line graph or a line graph here, you're going to run into the issue where it's not going to let you edit the direction of the what is on the horizontal or vertical axes. If we did that, this is probably what you guys did. You go grab this. You're going to realize this graph is not right. We need money to be on this side, which it did do, but it put our quantities as money. And it put down here, this needs to be quantity, and it used our money amount down here, and it's completely messed up. If you try to go into the settings to fix this, like I tried to do in class, it is not going to let you. That's because we need, for this information, to insert not a line graph, but a scatter plot. So come in here. We are going to connect it with lines, though, but it's going to put a dot for each point in the line. So we're going to use a scatter with smooth lines and markers, or you could use this one down here. Either way is fine. I like the smooth lines, but we're going to grab this one. Okay, in here. Now, it's still messed up, but we can fix it. At least it's got the dollar signs on the correct thing. So now, once we have this information, you are going to right-click over your graph. We are going to then go to Select Data. Once you're in Select Data, you are going to go, let's move this out of the way a little bit so you can kind of see as the graph changes. Let's move this. Okay, we're going to go to Demand, and we're going to edit the demand curve. Okay, so here we have the series name is Supply and Demand right here. So this one right here, we clicked that. So that is demand. That's already clicked. That's going to stay fine. We need to swap these two. So this is saying the X values, it had the X values as the price. We actually want the X values as the quantity demanded and the Y values as price. Okay, so now once we do that, we're going to go ahead and click OK. We also need to edit our supply curve as well. So we're going to click Edit, and then we can leave that title there. We're going to grab this one. Again, it has the price as X. We need to grab quantity supplied as the X values, and then we need to grab our price as the Y values, and we're going to click OK. Okay, and click OK. So now this is looking better. We have quantity demanded, and we can see we don't have, it's kind of annoying because this doesn't go all the way over to the left, and there's not really a way to, at least that I know of, to get rid of this space here at the left. It's totally fine because our axis, it starts, the center line is 0, and so that's totally fine. So as we go and we demand a higher price for our goods, you can see the quantity demanded for a higher price, quantity increases as the price gets lower, and the supply increases as the price gets higher. So right here in the middle, this is going to be your equilibrium price point. And so where it talks about 800 at a price of $1.25, $1.25 is going to be your equilibrium price point. So you're going to write $1.25 here. We also need to make our chart title make more sense. So we need to say chicken cuties, should we call it equilibrium graph or supply and demand? Let's go ahead and give it a decent name, chicken cuties. Supply and demand. My giant mouse doesn't let me. Okay, chicken cuties, supply and demand. Always make things, look nice as much as you can. So we have our supply and demand for chicken cuties. Blue is demand, orange is supply, and you're going to do that for each of our products. For our bison bites, the lamb lovies, party pooch, we're going to do it for each of them. You can organize these however you would like. You can just go put these down here at the bottom and stack them under each other, or you could grab these. You could cut that information, and we could put it over here. JK, we can put it over here. That was supposed to cut it. Why did that not cut? I think I clicked the wrong thing. That's why. So picky. Okay, we're gonna go ahead, cut, and paste. It really doesn't want to cut, does it? Anyways, we could honestly just press delete on your keyboard or right click and clear contents, and we could put this. Geez. Make sure when you're grabbing your chart, you click on the edge on the outside, and we could move it up here only after we have moved our party pooch as well, of course. So we could grab this, and we could move this over here. And because we're going to have this covered up anyways, we don't really need to worry about it. So we can make it look nice. We can right click it, insert some areas. Again, Excel's, it's a spreadsheet application. There's pros and cons, but we can make things simple and organized at least a little bit. So let's go do that one more time. We're going to grab, again, not our main title, not these parts in the darker colors. The price, demand, supply, we're going to go to insert. We're going to go ahead and insert a scatter plot, curved lines. And then let's put it kind of like where we want it. Let me size that down a little bit. Let's go ahead and right click and click select data, edit our demand for our bison bites. We do like the title, but we need to change this so it's not selecting price, it's selecting our quantity demanded. Now this we're going to change. We're just switching the X and Y category axis, well, the X and Y axes. And we are doing that for supply as well. And okay, something happened. I see. Okay, so supply, that's right. Demand. Something bad has happened. See what happened here. Select data. Demand. Our demand is screwed up. Okay. Demand got the quantity. X should be quantity. The Y value should be price. These ones right here. But for some reason it keeps, we want it to be these guys. Okay, so now that, okay. All right, that worked. Again, if you run into issues, be more stubborn than the computer. You should be good, but we're going to call this one Bison Bites. And make it look nice. We're going to call it supply and demand. Okay, do it for each one of these. Just know I want to be able to see the information. I want it to look nice. I want everything to kind of like, make sense. If you double click really fast between the columns, it auto fits. Anyways, let me know if you have any questions. You can do this on Google Sheets. Again, flipping the X and Y axes is a little tricky. You could move it to positions like we were talking about in class, but it still doesn't fix all the problems. Also, just a quick note that this amount right here, the supply for our chicken cuties at $1.50. The case that was given to us said the supply was 100. It really should have been 1,000. So that's one thing. If your graph looks a little different than mine, make sure you change that. You update that, add that extra 0. You're going to go ahead and save this to your student drive and go ahead and submit. Anyways, have a great one. I will talk to you guys later.